This video is a quick walkthrough in getting the prototype web API set up. So here is the zip file that I have downloaded, and I'll extract it. Okay, from the extracted folder. There's a couple of things to be aware of. So this will use a SQL database, and I have an external SQL server, so I'm going to set my connection string to point to a database there, and then we will install the schema. So let me get to appsettings.json, and I'm going to change my connection string value to point to a different server. And I'll just create a new database, Milestone Web API 3. But you can name the database anything you want. And there's also a Milestone URI. This is the address of the management server. So in my case, it's called xprotect. And I'm going to save this file. And I'm going to go to my SQL server. I've got a lot of databases on this one. I'm going to create a new one. And one thing that I forgot to do, I'm going to run my web API as my content/jh user. That's my test user here. So that is the database owner. That's perfect. Now we need our schema. So there's a schema.sql file here. And I'm just going to execute that on my new database. You'll get a couple of warnings. This is from the schema is built using ASP.NET Core, but the warnings should be fine. So now that we have updated our appsettings.json, we've set up our database, and we have our schema. We can either run the database, or run the web API using the exe, or we can set it up in IIS. Just to make sure that it's working and can start up, we'll just run the exe. And it should connect to the database, and we can see that it's now listening on 5000. Now, you'll notice that it says now listening on HTTP. The command prompt doesn't want to specify a HTTPS port for whatever reason. The web API will currently only work using HTTPS. So we're going to hit Control-C to shut this down, and we'll get this set up in IIS. Okay, so first thing is I will add an application pool for the web API to use. Add application pool, and this is going to be no managed code, and we'll just call it web API. We can call it anything we want. And now I'm going to set the identity to be my content/jh user. This is the user that is going to be used to access the Milestone software. So whatever user you use, you just want to make sure that it has permission to log into the management client, for example. Okay, our application pool is still running. So let's go ahead and add a website, and we'll call this Web API and the physical path will be wherever we extracted the project. And we're going to use HTTPS, and we can use any port except 443 on this server because that's already being used. So I'm going to use 6443 and use my local certificate. Okay. So now we have our website. Let's see if it works. We are going to post to our API and authenticate to get a JWT token. So HTTPS localhost 6443 API auth login, and this is going to be content type application/JSON. This is a tool called Postman, by the way. This is a popular tool for testing APIs. You may or may not already be aware of that. And we'll go to the body tab here, and we'll do raw JSON username admin, and so the default login is admin and admin123 hash. So password. This can be changed in the application, or excuse me, app settings.json. Send. Let's see if we get a response. Okay, no response yet. Just a moment. No warnings on the website. Okay, so let's go into our settings in Postman and make sure that we're not trying to validate the HTTPS certificates. Try again. Okay, we got a 200 OK, and here is our token. So this JWT token can now be used in follow-up queries. So let's do another query here. Duplicate tab, and in this case we're going to do a get and we're going to get a list of camera hardware that's on the system. Let's go ahead and use authorization, and we're going to use bearer token. Put our token in. Then you'll see in the headers, this is what's going to be sent to the server. This is just a GET request, so there's no content. The authorization will have that bearer token there. So let's do a send, and we should get hardware in response. And there's our list of hardware. So the documentation that I provided by email, that should include an outline of all of the calls that are currently available in the Web API. But if you have any questions or whenever you're ready to do some testing together, I'd be happy to join you. Just let me know when you're available.